shuttle service.
Ride-Elite? How do I find Ride-Elite?
Let's go online, www.rideelite.com.
Mission of providing reliable, timely, and safe transportation philosophy emphasizes quality service and effective communication as key components. We're located at CA Park.
One big bad stick. Everybody on stage, oh Lord. People tell you they cannot make, oh God, oh. Feel the spirit jumping in tongues. We coming wrong. It's a Savannah.
I'm not gonna like this. I'm gonna tell you, you don't want to give up the ghost.
Parity between as a city.
One thing that we can always say when you hear we have a woman power together. Can you imagine a woman power show with Antigua, St. Kitts, all the small islands, more than 4? Can you imagine that?
Just that my opinion, I blame as well Booyah, particular Booyah.
There's a lot of money to be made.
Let me tell you something. And this is something that...
You know there's a British Virgin Island, a US Virgin Island.
In the forefront leading thing.
I know. But me dealing with this is to simply ignore, because I know if I don't ignore it.
No. Let me tell you how something. That's why I'm glad we have a discussion because it. Good evening. What's up, folks? This is your boy Jamku, and this is another little talk corner, the music gap of the musicians, and the public. And so getting to know what is going on in the music industry. Okay, so we have tonight's guest. Okay, tonight's guest is Fabian Alfonso out of Trinidad and Tobago, and he is is into music business, copyrights. When I say a ton of information here. This is something we need to do right now. You know what I mean? This I got a lot of information between time, folks. And so let people know that we are all about and we are going right in. And I maybe we just put him in here. Greetings. Oh, okay,
Greetings.
good. Finally, we just had a little glitch just now, so we had to bring it back in again. How are you, sir?
Because I'm coming from far. I'm all the way from Trinidad and to. All right, okay. It was great. Well, I am Fabian Alfonso, necessary for the music industry development.
Okay.
You know, and I'm very creating an awareness of the difference between what is music and what is the music business.
But that's good. Oh, like 20 years.
Fortunate to start off in the music business when I was like about 16 years old. I got the opportunity to go to the US.
That's good. That's good. Applications in music business foundations from Berklee College of Music in the USA.
Yes, the thing about it is, the person who took me around sent me to Juilliard's School of Music.
Okay.
And when I went to the orientation with Juilliard's, they were giving us a whole education in music, classic. To know the business of music, you need to go to evolving. If any have moved from vinyl records to CDs to now MP3s and now streaming. So the music industry, the changing paradigm shift of what is known as the music industry.
Right. That's good. Okay, so you are you part of the intellectual property? People know that
yes, for intellectual property, and we would notice that different countries, whether it's the US or the UK or the Caribbean, have learned what intellectual.
So so we're going to people needs to know lights and all them stuff, and one of them I'm looking at right now is who owns the rights in musical works, performances, and sound recordings.
Yes, that's a question that keep coming.
Some sort of, and it's always the big ball of what we here for.
Yes, and I trust that all the questions about copyright and ownership and neighboring rights, I trust that they will be a lot clearer in everybody's mind. I would provide basic information on who owns what.
Things going and sound recordings. So take it away. The stage is yours.
So if you notice, there are three different items there, as we call it. We try to avoid using word as music. Music is a very wide term, all right? And in no copyright act around the world, they actually use the word music by itself. You would see names like musical work, it means.
Right.
In musical work, the picture on the left, you see the guy with the piano and the pencil.
Right.
This is basically lyrics and melodies. I compose a melody. One person writing the song, it could be anything else.
Right.
Melody of a musical work. As a singer or a musician, and any interpretation of a musical work, whether a singer sings the song or a musician plays an instrument, what you would get is their own creative input into performance.
Right.
So someone singing that musical performance and vocal performance is not protected under copyright and is a musical work. So perform the sound recording studio, all right? But to make a long story short, it's a recording of the performance of a music recording. So that's just the difference. And the sound recording is separate from the live performance, which is separate from the musical.
Like what?
And this is why copyright and neighboring rights is so complicated that is years and years. Actually consists of three, and the right of the producer who produced the song recording. And let's just leave it there for now.
Okay, so to make sure they have the T's crossed and the I's dotted in a nutshell.
Yes, that's right. How a song recording is made. Come
Right.
again. Yeah. Yes. So what we have here is a song versus the song recording. So this just more or less gives a big sense of the lyrics and main picture of the song recording. It's actually a digital version of a recorded performances and musical works, including the familiar of how a song recording is made. It's these two things, according to WIPO's guideline, is not protected under copyright, but protected under neighboring rights.
Listen, you just made everybody say, "Oh."
Yes.
Right. So both of them asked in a way to say that no, this is the first step they hear the two different type of the melody, the lyrics, and all them stuff. So those two, you could be one person to do both producing and songwriting at the same time.
Yes.
So once things are done correctly.
That's it, and that's what the slide is showing. There are different contributors
Right.
to this song that we will deal with in a slide. I think right now, melody alone, the work of the performer. I
Yeah.
hope we get to everything.
Important, and everybody needs.
And the author and the music publisher, because I know the word music publisher usually come up. This one here, that's it. Yes.
Right.
So owners of copyright in a musical work. So usually of, let's say, melody, and probably you 50%, the music publisher, the songwriter is an agreement.
So because I think some does get it
Yes.
mixed up, especially when it comes to registering and they are the author of the lyrics and all them stuff. So run that one
All right.
again,
So
so they could really understand this part.
one is the author of words like a poem. What you would have is a complete right protects the author of the musical work, which is the lyrics and melody.
Good. Go ahead.
So by itself, this song is protected by copyright. The music publisher now, right, by him publishing contract.
Right.
So what the publisher job is, his job is to promote, and I'm using the word exploit, these songs on a television program. If you're in agreement, I am doing all the work, and you get $50.
$50.
But because of that agreement, in that agreement, it's very detailed that the songwriter assigns his musical work or copyright to co-ownership in that musical work. So these things are not to really grasp, and the relationship between a music publisher and a songwriter, but it's really a business agreement itself.
Doesn't have the rights publishing your music. Understand that part because
Yes, rights over that musical work is by the copyright owner in the song, granting that publisher that right through an authorized agreement.
share the live because we want to get this information all over Facebook and all over the web.
Let's understand the situation with, could you go to the slide to your right? Let me see. One for almost. One called types of licenses.
Okay.
Right, let's leave that here. Right. Now, as I said before, the music business is very wide. And there's that thing called investment and return on investment. So whether it's live performances, whether it's sales, whether the sales is traditional or online sales,
Right.
there is product endorsements. And product endorsements has to do with, or a company like Digicel would endorse this artist with hundreds and thousands of dollars to promote their product and that is a product endorsement. So all these are representative.
Hello? Seems like we lost Fabian. Okay, Fabian, we look like we just lost it a bit, so I have
All
to
right,
bring it.
into sales. There's another area of revenue known as licenses.
Yeah,
And licenses,
right.
basically, a license is an agreement. An agreement where an owner of a license is permission for mechanical license. But it's important to understand what the mechanical license applies. So a mechanical license, CDs, MP3s, and that we link these terms to the subject matter that we spoke about in the beginning, the musical work in different ways. And applying only to the musical work and nothing else. Authorization is granted to the songwriter to use musical works with visual images in a motion picture or television program. So in layman terms, a synchronization license, and they want to use your original musical work, they need to get a synchronization license production. So that's a synchronization license. And just to recap, the mechanical license and synchronization license, type of license is the master use license. And I'm glad that we are at this point where I broke down the difference between a musical work and a sound recording. Because the master use license sound recordings in education is that any third party who wants to use music, whether in a film, in a download, or any other situation, and those are two different types of
like mechanical license.
You want to use an entire song recording itself. So what synchronization license, the use of the song.
Okay, so I hope everybody understand that part, because we don't want to get those mixed up, because you never know whenever your song might reach on a film, and that's dotted to a T.
I say they're very complicated, they're very intricate, they're very layered. And what you don't want to do is to have because if they just obtain that will also
I hope before we go any further, let's say hi to Adano Hassan, publisher.
Oh, hello, Dana.
It's good to see her. Good to see her here on the show. Together back here on the show, updated show, because she has a lot of information also. Okay,
so another type of license, copyright and down. All right.
I think. Okay. I just scroll.
Right. Okay. Once we see these, it's just 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so so the mechanical license, synchronization license, and master use license. In music business terms, we call this the owner's right. So it's known as a collective management organization. And what is a collective management organization? Play every day on the radio or performer, or organization that would now issue these licenses collectively, multiple, as members, right? So it could be songwriter members, performer members, and they would will allow the radio station to advising your organization is the copyright license. A public performance of musical works. What is that? It means that you as an owner of a musical work, and most of the time you will be a songwriter or a music composer, whenever that family circle, concert, that is any of those businesses issue that license.
I think that is the most important part, because I don't think some of them get it up to now. So I want to think it's but through the whole region, run that one again because
right? When public space, outside of or an artist formed in a public environment, active management organization is responsible for issuing that license to whoever. Example is some song that beats any band to perform each one of those so that the owners of the in a public performance. Yes.
which is Echo. What
That's
is
right.
the name?
But the main one is the copyright for the public performance.
Comment and she said until now I can't get any cooperation from any DJs to
Yes.
pay for the license and all them stuff.
Yes, so the DJs do have a responsibility to obtain not free. It's not free to do that you are playing. Penalties can apply.
Yes, I think they doesn't. I don't think. Okay.
Right. So this is right broadcast station. The radio station now has to obtain a license to play these musical works. And if that license is not obtained, again, it's copyright infringement. But it's the role of the CMO to issue a license to the owners of these musical works that we must maximize throughout the region.
Good.
Including where you are. So
okay, I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I think I finished there.
So it's obtain licenses.
That should be a simple. He would or security or obtain your license to come to that event. And that's the most important license that has to be obtained. So we need to create a lot of awareness and be compensated.
I'll fund it as a part of their responsibility.
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Right, okay. A license yearly as part of their I would agree to that.
Okay, yeah.
Right, I saw the question. As a lobbyist and an advocate and radio station owners, necessary licenses because you stream.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, that's why WIPO is saying instead of taking a big stick approach for enforcement of copyright, let us have a campaign where people can appreciate people's copyrights.
Okay, and
communication to the public. Right.
Yes.
Communication to the internet, streaming, cable, anything to do in the digital market is another income stream for authors of musical work to financially benefit. Spotify, Amazon, every licenses from these platforms so that owners of musical works can financially benefit. Public performance of musical works, broadcast of musical works, and communication to the public of musical works. We now are maximizing your financial potential when it comes to these three areas of income that you entitled.
Okay, I've seen things are getting very heated in the comment section. Right. And Vinton says there must be an artist.
You know, we have creatives, we have professionals, we have the role of government, and we have what are known as artist representative groups. You know, like in the US, they have the Guild of Writers, the Guild of Producers. These are very strong organizations like a trade union to represent the rights of art.
Okay, to ensure their rights are not trampled on and justice system to protect. You have a point there.
Yes. Is all right, but the CMO, because of the paperwork between the member and themselves, they can actually go into what is known.
Okay, look like we just lost Fabian again. Okay, we're trying to get him back. Just so I can line, okay? Okay, seems like he. Okay, so give us a bit while we try to get back Fabian. And so on, while we try to get back Fabian back on the scene. Don't forget, into music, copyrights, and neighboring rights specialists. And also, please share the live, okay? Share the live, okay? So let us see if we try to get back Fabian minutes. So thank you very much, Mr. Son. Action here. And what's not. And trust me, these are, I hope everybody's sharing the link. We really need to get this out to everybody, because trust me, getting back seems that he and so as someone said, Flo, we shall not discuss that. 5 minutes to 9, and this is the Little Talk Corner, the music industry, and my guest. We are here to educate the masses about what is going on in the music industry and what's not in the music industry, everything. So we have Fabian here. I'm trying to get him and see if we get things popping again. Share the link, guys. Share the live, because everybody wants to know what is going on here, what are you sharing, and trust me, people is going to. The music industry is not a PR, as we say, PR or easy industry where you could get quick and so on. So yeah, so let us see if we get Fabian back. I hope he's like he's beginning, and it looks like he's back. He's back up, but he's not back in the studios yet. But when he goes back in, then we're gonna bring him back alive again. So don't So it's to get in, and I'll get him back up in here now. And you're back.
We're back.
This is like the good timing and so on.
So, the public performance of musical works, the neighboring rights license. Right. So, a very long story short, everything I've explained that from his public performance of musical, they are also entitled. It is from their song recordings. And as we explained earlier, the song recording is separate from the musical work. And the song recording in this case consists two types of individuals. The performer who performed on the song, if it's performed in a festival.
So, playing a song from
the owner now has to, a performer can be compensated. Area where Echo has to get into. I know, I did some research, and Echo actually, once Echo starts a membership drive, you need to obtain at your venue or at your calculation. Let's just say that $5 million is obtained through copyright. It means that right now, annually, because this license is not exercised. So we need to get to the point of exercising in neighboring rights. And as the slide states, play the song recordings. They are also entitled to be paid, the artist and the producer. Once that original artists and producers are losing money if they're not collecting.
and losing money every
Yes.
thinks that the royalties is the real revenue earner for
That's it.
for songwriters. But a couple times on stage performance, like the artist performing for a fete or something, and instead of check for live performance, they're getting something.
Right,
Come
okay.
across with a question like right.
All right.
Mhm.
For the public performance in this case, we are talking about the band performing this musical work,
Mhm.
the individual that is entitled
Mhm.
to payment from that copyright license,
Exactly.
he will be compensated and has nothing to do with.
Kind of twisted, and they think she's getting millions. She might be getting a percentage from the song, whatever. But they don't realize that the real money makers are the songwriters and the guys who are really
Yes.
like the producers who are really is the real money makers, and
That's
so
right.
on.
That's right.
Rihanna most likely should get in for the performance fee from promoters or what's not being at, or she getting endorsed by companies for
Performer,
mm-hmm.
if the DJ is
Mhm.
playing neighboring rights license,
Mm-hmm.
would now create an opportunity for that performer on that CD. So this is why I'm saying that this is just a foundational concept to understand and for us to do further research. Owners of musical neighboring rights,
Mhm.
administration is all about to ensure that nobody goes down in vain. This is a business. Someone to probably write the song in any country, in any
Yep,
world.
it is. It
Right.
is.
So, from that really needs to be discussed.
Yeah, I think I'll be touching this one. Go ahead.
The player and picture, the creator and the executive producer. Matter of fact, let me go to the definitions we have here. On the left-hand side, the creative song, the energy to sing the song. Hey, I want you to sing it like this. Give me a melody, give me a harmony. So his role is like a director
Mhm.
in the studio. And this is a royalty arrangements, right? Be a creative person, writer. It can be this production is known around the world. Some would say that it is a creative producer because he's now like us. In this production is to have an agreement between the two.
The producer, the guy who what he wants, and the executive producer is the guy who like manages.
One important. You see this thing called rhythms,
Yeah.
right?
Go ahead.
Rhythms
Mhm.
are not recognized as on that in my research with
Mhm.
and is a rhythm protected under copyright or is it
Mhm.
protected under neighboring right? It's work in progress. And
Mhm.
name it. You would name the rhythm, whether it's Diwali rhythm or pigtail rhythm or whatever rhythm,
Mhm.
or is rhythm protected under neighboring rights. So we in the
Mhm.
Caribbean has created a situation that we have a responsibility to do the documentation for how rhythms should be protected, how rhythms.
For once, but I think they gone a little overboard with it now because they always got some sort of situation with who is whole ball of confusion with these rhythms things.
But it's a simple thing to solve, because remember,
Mhm.
most of the time you would have the producer producing the rhythm.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
all right, that rhythm. And of course, other artists would get the same opportunity. So this rhythm is out there, but in terms of rhythm and call and sound recording, now if they're $1,000 or $1,000 to come on my rhythm, once you start doing that, you complicate things about ownership.
Michelle Daniels, I think that just confused people a lot.
But the thing about it is, copyright is very territorial, meaning that every country has the opportunity to as a guideline. But here might be protected as Caribbean people, all right? And that will be protected under copyright. And in our then that is a copyright infringement, criminal, as far as for unauthorized permission, it's known as unauthorized.
Okay. So I hope everybody understands that, because that is really important. And about situation sometimes when sometimes just the artists wait 10 artists and that really song producers or thing gets complicated through the region, especially with CMOs.
And this is, as I mentioned before, since rhythm is a Caribbean creation, we have a responsibility to do that. We can't look to any.
We the only people. What you think about arrangements and all them stuff? I realize everything is like one straight. The pattern sometimes now these days that producers from one island and the next having problems, and when it comes to royalties and copyrights and all them.
Whole basic law of copyright that you cannot create another creative work that flows along with copyright, and that word is originality. The more original you can be, is the less situation you would. So we have to pay attention.
As in Bailey came up with something, had me smiling, and he said, "Worse when producers with him."
I was just saying that once there's a financial transaction, then you're running in. Once you are financing something, then that investment, it seems that you're entitled to have some sort of ownership or entitled to co-ownership. It's best if he pays them to come on the rhythm so that there will be no issue of who owns this rhythm.
Yeah, because it always comes to that part.
Yes.
And I will tell you where the confusion is. And I seen it one time. And there was always a confusion like that. I seen it where they said the written part, always the argument of the artist saying, I own the song. So if I own the song, I need to collect royalties. So you
have to be very careful.
Right.
He came up with his own lyrics and melody. He may be the owner of the copyright in the musical work. All right. However, if he was inspired by some sort of copyright agreement, this is where, again, copyright is not a copy and paste situation. Every entitled to a share of the copyright. So it's a contribution. If he had a song and by hearing that rhythm was inspired to write lyrics and melody, then he may have to share. It gets very intricate and complicated and has to be assessed every situation.
And this is when the okay. Right. So let's go on to the other slides now. So
I think that was it, you know.
That was it.
Go, let me.
On that one. Any questions?
Yes.
Any questions to Fabian? Might have a little delay. So controversy when it comes to that or it, but think it's versus St. Vincent controversy right now.
Interesting.
Where the song Mind Your Funky Business is on.
Right.
And basically there is these rhythm parts and sort of like rhythms really need to settle this thing out, but we don't know what's going on behind the closed doors, but something like that meant when it comes to royalties. What do you think?
And the other one?
So I see the names almost close.
Yes, the names are almost close. One, similarity. Then you need, right, mediation to discuss the situation. Right? But some professional intervention has to happen to clearly identify that there is a similarity. If coming together to discuss the situation. If there's a similarity, then it's a copyright infringement.
Right.
And what has to happen is some sort of financial compensation from the popular rhythm using the similar if there's an infringement.
So okay, I think sometime out of date. I hope Grace could add that our music, and we couldn't so. I forgot what the name is. The law. I hope Grace
is the comment there, Grace?
I hope Grace, but Grace of Sync is a new specifically mentions the rights of performers, sound recordings in our code down there.
Right. So you see the Copyright Act in St. Kitts has strong representation. It is performers have a bundle of exclusive rights that involves their independent rights. That if a performer is performing live, permission has to be granted to even record that performance, to broadcast that performance, or to stream that performance. So those are really exclusive independent rights of the performer. But in terms of performers taking things into their personal hands, this is what will make things complicated, because now every radio station would have of collective management administration, so that this license can be administered collectively on behalf of all of these performers in the sound record. As far as is independent like the public, it's recommended that that should be administered through a collective management organization.
Okay, so
question, Grace.
So Grace was saying, okay, so Grace was our Copyright Act did not protect foreign works. So,
all right, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so we had that. Yeah, we had that one, and we had to get it changed.
Is it updated now?
Yeah, we got it amended. Yeah, so yeah, amended, and that was.
You have an intellectual property office in St. Kitts.
Yes, we do.
Right, so that would be the government body that would liaise with the World Intellectual Property Organization to strengthening the copyright acts, whether it's traditional or digital activities. The Intellectual Property Office will ensure that St. Kitts, which supports the copyright treaty, which the Copyright Act in St. Kitts, to be stronger when it comes to administration of digital works. And then there's another treaty known as the WIPO Performances and Phonograms and Broadcast. And the IPO office in St. Kitts concerned. Yes.
Creators topic, anything, and you.
And if all artists
yeah, and as him say, and they have members from the intellectuals about it, but the thing is that they're being very delinquent about it until someone makes. If you sue me, I won't have. I might show again because you sue them, but they are comes to the radio stations, they are off and they won't get the rotation thing, but they are afraid to do it. What do you think that ever happened down in Trinidad?
Comments there. Let me say quickly the event. That is worse to say. Listen, if you don't,
the best way is to get an injunction. Okay, as him just say,
yeah, we know
the station that was actively turning away persons registered with a CMO, and I know the registration, but I would call it here.
Lawsuit.
In your way, because they'll get your song somehow. I love the injunction approach. As him said the same thing, he loved the injunction approach because
in St. Kitts and go through gives a court, a judge, authority, right? Authority in any kind of civil legal documentation. This is a law. A law. I don't know what your act is, but it will say it is the Copyright Act Therefore, magistrates and judges can use that law against infringers and file an injunction and shut them down. It's just that we just don't. It's a cost. It's
gonna watch it because it can offer you. You shut him down.
He's in Trinidad and Tobago. The event. You are not authorized. You need to approach.
So that is the function is.
Yes.
It's up. Grace listening. Very.
I bet you
very
wouldn't do it again.
Get
I'm
license.
just seeing a lot of comments coming up here on my page. Why?
The police, yes. Echo had a session with the police when they was here a couple months ago.
Right.
Back in June, early June. They making me laugh. You're right. And I was saying that, but he has promoters knows that they're not complying, and I think it's time. I think it's time for this. I think it's time for them to go to the heavy
That's why
road.
Right. That's why I'm saying don't use the word event and be sued. They're not afraid of being sued, but they are very concerned about an injunction to not have the event.
What's that? When everybody done in there, when everybody's in there, and ignore the court order and do what I gotta do. Oh, but yeah, jail. I know they got promoters listening. And they do the right thing, get the license, the bills, and they don't sport it and say, oh, I like that, because in my opinion, without the artists, there's no show. So, and these people, the producers, or as the composers and songwriters, and all them stuff. So I love the as I say, I love the injunctions, and I hope the artists them really watching and see that when do not be my permission, why you got my music playing in these places and all them stuff. A lot of these actually American music into there, but they have the rhythm behind it, and I keep telling them that one of these days they're gonna this you never know who is in next day. Bam.
One's interaction.
As him, he does making me laugh. A Red Pill booking agency will be employing something like that. They will continue to infringe because the public entities do not.
See what someone said earlier about sort of change, because no promoter put me on record saying that. That's what we do in Trinidad and Tobago. Once that happens, everybody is cautious.
You could say maybe 5 years, about 5 to 7 years now, and it's getting more. But the only thing is that key factor that I don't care. I ain't feared y'all can't do me nothing. No, they must give them chances. That tactics there is needed. Okay, I see. As him say, don't even. A promoter just say, man, your song sound real good, man. I want, and that's about it.
That's it.
About it. That's it. Not even a contract.
Well, sorry, Adana, this activity requires some sort of paperwork. And an agreement is what stipulates your cost, what you should take advantage of a situation. It's your word.
Artist, sound engineer, the composer, the writer, and still, who else? Brand. You have to actually have a team behind you. Get up out of here because need some serious reviews, and them out because we're gonna close this. But this was a really good function, Pat. I think you just set the bar with that one. That one giving a lot of these producers. I seen them like the live.
Right.
And they're not commenting, but another watching, and I think that you giving them ideas. So I hope these the producers and the songwriters make realize that the promoters and the events doesn't obtain a license for an injunction.
That's it.
And not even that, you can make an example to a radio station too.
Yes.
As well, you can make an example to our stations and say, just take an injunction.
Radio stations and promoters need to be advised how harsh the act is that can come against them with the full brunt of the law.
Yeah. And I think it's all the time. And applying. And somebody started doing it. Thoughts, any more things, no. So give us a wrap. Let us shut it down for the night.
Right, so is that they are different, although they can be made, that we must tap into, that there is a lot of financial potential there, and artists ensure that your Copyright Act is strengthened by international treaties so that you can be protected and that you can use whatever ammunition is there in your Copyright Act.
Thank you very much, what he's saying, especially about the injunction. What's the deal is. Thanks for coming. Next week we're gonna have things popping. So industry. This is your boy Jam.